And welcome back to episode 3 of the Matty Media Cast. We are finally rocking and rolling after a little bit of a delay, technical difficulties and all that. But yeah, we've got me, Matty Burbsy, and over to my right there we've got the beautiful bald Matty J.
Hello everyone, I hope you are all well today.
I think someone had an epiphany and decided to shave his head.
I did. So just get rid of it all.
Nah, looking fresh. Looking fresh, lockdown haircut and all that. Yeah. Got a few different topics for you today instead of just one long chat about films. We're going to be going over mine and Matty's top 10 games of all time. So we've each individually got a top 10. We'll go through that. Matty's going to be reviewing The Truman Show. He's going to be giving us his review of that. We've decided to swap from us both doing a film review in the episode to do alternate ones. So next week I'll do one, and then the week after Matty will do one, and so on and so on and so on.
I think it's just primarily so it doesn't waste the entire podcast talking about two separate movies. Whereas if we just do one, we can do different topics. So it's not long.
Yeah, and obviously, if anyone has anything they'd like us to speak about or mention, whilst we're live, obviously we are live on Twitch right now for people that are watching on YouTube. They can always put that in the chat, and then we'll go off there. The chat does come up on the screen on the top right, just above Matty's head. But the first thing I want to start off with, I think we need to talk about the new Godzilla trailer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because is hype. I am very hyped about this film. I watched the trailer last night, and
I've got some notes down about it as well.
I got very excited by watching it. I was like, God, I really want to watch this film now. I can't wait, damn it.
Come on, tell us, how are you feeling about it? What did you think of the trailer without giving any spoilers away for anyone who's not watched it?
Well,
what we're seeing.
I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna go into depth, and there's gonna probably be spoilers. So if you ain't watched it, I'd watch it.
Watch it prior to this, and then come back to it.
Yeah, but to be fair, it was quite a good trailer. My first, at the end of it, I thought, I hope they haven't put all the action in this trailer before the actual film. I don't want the film to have no action now and have it all the best bits in the trailer, because there was some pretty fucking epic stuff. When Kong's on the boat and Godzilla's underwater and he shoots his electric beam up in the air. I was like, oh my God. I was like, shit. I was dead excited when that happened. Pre-education spoilers. Yeah, there are spoilers, yeah. But yeah, I've got a couple of theories that I think things that could happen, but again, I could totally be wrong. But
I've generally only got one. I've got one theory.
Yeah. Okay. You go through yours.
Obviously, my main theory with this, and if I'm not right with this, I'll be shocked, because I guarantee this theory is going to be quite similar to one of your theories, and if it's not, I'll be shocked. So my theory is, what's going to happen is, obviously they're going to fight it out and what have you. Do what you'd expect them to do, because it's Kong versus Godzilla. I think we'll get halfway through the film. Obviously, if nobody knows, Godzilla and Kong are from the same sort of era, I suppose, or same sort of world, if that makes sense, because they are, aren't they? They're sort of from the same world. And whatever, I can't remember the name of that big bug, that big flying thing. Obviously,
it's like the moth, wasn't it?
Yeah, the big moth thing. I'm sure, Godzilla killed that. And what I think, because obviously I think you see I can't remember if you see in the trailer that you see a bigger boss to Kong and Godzilla. If not, then ignore that.
Well, there was 7 other Titans, weren't there? And I think he kills 5 of them in the last one, in King of Monsters. I think it's Moth. Does Moth die? There's one that survives, and then there's Kong as well, which obviously weren't involved.
can't remember.
I need to
But
rewatch it.
But anyways, what I think will happen is I think they'll fight it out and do whatever they need to do, like for the portion of the film, and then I think one of the other big creatures will come back, and I reckon Kong and Godzilla will team up to take down this other thing. I generally think this is what's going to happen.
It's got to turn into Godzilla and Kong versus the world.
Yeah, I think they're gonna team up. It's one of them films where you can sort of guess how it's gonna lead up, but I mean, then again, it's one of them films that I could be thinking what I've just told you, and it'll be the complete opposite of what I've just said.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matty, share your views. Go on.
Well, I'm like a little bit more thingy. I've done a bit of digging, basically. And obviously, in the last film, we find, I can't remember the actor's name, but he runs the company called Apex, and they're the ones that were like, they stole one of the, I can't think, what's the Titans called with the 3 heads?
Oh, I know exactly what.
I can't think what it's called now. The name escapes me, but they stole one of his severed heads, and they're planned. Apparently, the fiction of the story is that they planned to fuse that head with the skeleton of the Godzilla that was in the first film at the very start. You know, the big skeleton in the cave. They were going to fuse it together and make Mecha Godzilla, which is obviously something that happened in the old Godzillas from back in the day. There was Mecha Godzilla, and in the first scene of this trailer, obviously you see all these buildings being destructed, and there's a little clip where they're going down. There's people running down the stairs, and then you see a Titan above them, but it looks like a robot. If you freeze it perfectly and look at it, it looks like Godzilla as a robot. So it could be that Apex have succeeded in what they're doing and have created Mecha Godzilla. Because what I don't understand is that why Godzilla is suddenly attacking people, when in the other 2 films he's never attacked humans. He's only been like destructing things to try and kill these Titans. He's never purposely gone out his way to injure the humans, when in this trailer you see multiple different shots where he's physically trying to just kill everyone, which could lead to another thing where Apex have created this Mecha Godzilla to try and, you know, frame Godzilla and, you know, basically try and shun him out of existence, kind of thing.
That sounds quite logical, to be fair.
And obviously, if you pay attention to the Kong film, to now, Kong is like twice as big as he was. Whether that's due to the radiation of the Earth tunnels that they live in, these Titans, they live in the Hollow Earth theory, isn't it? That they live in Hollow Earth and that they live underground in these tunnels that are just full of radiation. So you know, he could have grown because of that, or this company Apex might have, you know, messed with him and, you know, made him bigger. Obviously, the no one really knows why they actually are fighting. Obviously, there are little glimpses in the trailer where, you know, they say, oh, there was like an ancient battle, and they're the last 2 standing, and shit like that. But you never know. But my prediction is, and obviously this is if I get this right, I apologise that I've spoiled the film before it comes out. But
spoiled it like 2 months early. He's
imagine.
already seen it. He's seen it.
Yeah, I saw the pre-release. Nah, but you know, the question is, if that's the case, if this Mecha Godzilla is real, is Kong fighting the Mecha Godzilla throughout the film? You know what I mean? He could be fighting this Mecha one, and I thought the possible twist could be the film that the whole time he's fighting this Mecha Godzilla, and then at the end Kong actually kills him, but then out of the blue, out the sea behind him, you see the real Godzilla come out and then whoop his ass. Because to be fair, that'd be the best the best twist I think in any film. I'd literally get so hyped at that if you just saw the real Godzilla stand up behind him. Like, yeah, I'm what, mate? I'm gonna kick your ass. That'd be brilliant. But I'm genuinely so excited for it. Literally, I am so excited to see what happens.
The previous Godzillas were great.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing the first one. I don't mean like the first one, like the original. I just mean like the ones
The 2014 one.
Yeah. This one, I loved them. Mate. I thought they were brilliant. I remember the first one, because everyone thought what's his name? The bloke from Breaking Bad. Is it Bryan Cranston?
Yeah, Bryan Cranston. Yeah.
Everyone thought he was the main. Obviously, excluding Godzilla, everyone thought he was going to be the main character.
Yeah.
And then he died like minutes into the
that was the only disappointment of that movie for me, because they kind of put his whole film of Bryan Cranston into the trailer. Like basically the whole trailer was him, and then like obviously in the movie about half hour in, he just dies, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I was expecting him to be this main character and do whatever, but I can't fault how the two films were made. I was just amazed. There were some really brilliant scenes in the films that just blow you away. Like the first one, I remember watching that in the cinema, and the first bit where he's fighting the bad ones, and like his tail remotely starts glowing up from the back all the way up his spine. So I just remember like getting so like hyped to the point where the whole cinema was the same, and then obviously when he shot it, I just remember hearing like these two blokes at the front row just shouting like, "Yeah, come on!" It was so good. I love it, man. It literally are like up there with my favourite movies, like the modern era. To be fair,
yeah, I think the noise that Godzilla makes as well is incredible.
Yeah,
it's just like it's such a mad thing. And here's a question that I want everyone answered in the comments, because I've had this debate with Sean before. Is Godzilla a dinosaur or a lizard? To me, I want to agree that he does look like a dinosaur. I am not excluding that.
It depends
whatsoever.
what kind of universe of Godzilla it is, because in the one that came out in the early 2000s with Matthew Broderick, he was a lizard that just was he was exposed to radiation when he filmed the atom bomb tests.
Yeah.
And obviously he became what he was. But in this one, it's kind of like he wouldn't sound like a dinosaur, he's a titan.
Yeah.
That's what the label does, is a titan.
Every time I look at him, I just automatically jump to lizard. I don't know why. I don't know why I think lizard. I just do. But yeah.
What are people's thoughts? Anyone watching? What do you think? Is he a dinosaur, titan, or a lizard? I mean, I'm going with titan.
Or all three of them?
Yeah, it could be all three. All of the above. Another thing I thought that could have happened in the film is maybe Godzilla and the Mecha Godzilla, if it is a real thing, they might actually team up to fight Kong. You never know. Imagine.
You reckon?
But I'm interested to see where it goes, because I like the fact that Kong's got that axe, hasn't he? Which, by the looks of it, is made from one of Godzilla's spines on his back. If you pay close attention to the trailer, Connor says lizard. He's agreeing with you, mate.
Let's go, Connor. Let's go.
Yeah, but if you look at the trailer, in that like final scene where he's jumping at him with the axe and Godzilla's like firing his breath at him, if you look, the axe itself is getting charged up as Godzilla's like back spines are.
Yeah.
And obviously when it comes together, it releases all that energy, doesn't it? I think that's what creates such a big like explosion. But oh man, I'm so excited. Genuinely so excited for it.
The question is though, how are we actually physically gonna watch it though?
I'm not sure, because it's being released on HBO Max,
isn't it?
Which I'm not sure whether we can get it over here. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Surely it's just on the internet, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd expect would be able to get it. Is like
But I thought maybe Sky would pick it up as like an
quite
exclusive
possibly,
on the Sky store or something. I mean, I'd pay to watch it because I'm just
because
that excited for it.
one of these TV companies has a partnership with Sky. I think
Yeah,
I think it's Fox. Yeah, it's
I think it is
Fox.
Fox. Yeah, Amazon
Yeah,
you can maybe it'd be on Amazon. It's a good shout that is.
um,
Hopefully,
yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very optimistic about it because obviously none of us have any idea of how it's going to go, but
no.
we've all got with speculations about it, and I think to be honest, what we've both said are really good like examples of what we expect to happen.
Yeah,
Because to be fair, both answers are logical.
yeah,
I mean, it can go either way. It could go like down the route that you said, down the route I said. We don't know. I
yeah.
mean,
You never know. Yeah,
personally, I prefer Godzilla. I don't know about anyone else. I prefer Godzilla to
yeah.
Kong. Original King Kong, loved original King Kong.
Which one?
Um, like
Not the
the
original.
like not
What do you
King
mean?
Kong
The one
Skull
with Jack
Island.
Black?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. That
That
I
one.
think it was 2004 that came out, wasn't it? I think I did enjoy that one, but a lot of people had their reservations about that one as well, just because of the casting. Like,
Yeah.
I know people that said they didn't like the fact that Jack Black was in it because he was more of a comedic actor. But I thought he was quite good in that film, to be fair.
You know, when you think about it, right? I haven't seen the probably is. I haven't seen the original King Kong. I don't know about anyone else. But when you think of it, in the aspects that both of the films had sort of like like comedians in it, like playing the role that Jack Black did. Uh,
Yeah,
Jack Jack Black played the role that he did. And what's that guy from the new King Kong Skull Island? He's in that Cloverfield.
I know
Uh,
John C. Reilly's in it, isn't he?
yeah,
At
the one
Step
who gets
Brothers.
eaten by that whatever the crawling thing is without that looks like a lizard.
Yeah, Samuel L.
Lizard
Jackson's in
with
it as well, isn't he? In Kong Skull
yeah,
Island.
that's right.
I've
Aye.
only watched it once. I do need to rewatch it before this one comes out.
Yeah, I think that was it. The orc, well, the orc, they're the same. They'd be to be fair because it's on a giant gorilla.
Yeah,
But yeah, nonetheless, I love them both. Wasn't a massive fan of King Kong Skull Island, but we move, we move.
nah, it didn't grip me as much as the Godzilla
Yeah,
films. Like the two Godzilla films, literally had me hooked from start to finish. Like I couldn't turn away. Like I was just like interested the whole time. But Kong Skull Island, I kind of like there was times where I was just like, oh, this is just boring. But nevertheless, I want to rewatch them again.
to be fair, like you said there, like being hooked on something, like a lot of people don't understand it, but like that's literally me with Jurassic Park, like the first one. From the moment it starts, my eyes are glued. Like even though I've seen it like a billion times, I mean I wouldn't go to that extent, but even though I've seen it as many times as I have, I never get bored and I never get unstuck off the screen. If that makes sense, my
Yeah,
eyes are always glued to the screen, and I'm just focused from start to finish.
yeah. Right, should we move on? You happy with that?
Let's move on. I'm
Yeah.
happy with that section.
Just to confirm with people watching, if you don't know, Godzilla vs Kong is out at the end of March. Available on HBO Max. But like Connor says, it might be on Amazon.
And be
Fingers
ready.
crossed to do some more
You,
digging on that.
you'll definitely have a review
But
off us both.
definitely,
Both
I think we will both do a review. As soon as it comes out, as soon as we both watched it, we will do a review on it. And no doubt
And if,
my jaw will be on the floor, either very happy or very sad.
let's hope that one thing buggers off and we might be able to watch it together and do the podcast in front of each other
Yeah.
for that film.
I won't hold my breath for that soon, but you know.
Yeah, I'm not.
You never
I'm
know.
not keeping any hope up for it.
No.
Yeah.
Right,
So,
Matty,
let's move
I
on.
think it's your time to shine, son, and you can give your review of the Truman Show.
Course, I am. Funny enough, guys. Fun fact: I'm actually more prepared for this than I was with Patch Adams. Even
On
though I
Amazon, it
was prepared
advertised the
for that
HBO
chance.
Max subscription, but you get it for free for 7 days if you've not used it before. Yes, Con, that is a massive shout. I appreciate you saying that, because now I know where I can watch it. Yeah, boy.
But I mean, we've got other means if we can't watch it via that, but we'll not go
Yeah.
into that. But yeah.
Yeah, man.
So, come on then, guys. I'm gonna give you. I'll tell you how it's gonna work. So to take up what I said to Matt and what I'll say to everyone who's watching, I'm not gonna make this a big thing. I'm not gonna do what I did last time where I got myself jumbled up, done a middle synopsis, a starting synopsis. I'm not gonna do anything like that. What I'm gonna do for you all is I'm gonna explain it the best as I can. I've got my notes right next to us, which I didn't have many notes to us last time, even though I wrote it down on my notes on my phone, which was a nightmare. But I've got it all written down. I'll explain about what it's about. I'll mention the actors, who it was made, and who it was made by, when it was released. You get what I mean. And then what I'll do at the end is I'll give it a rating. I'll explain why I gave that rating, and then we'll move on. So yeah, as mentioned, the film that was given to me this week was The Truman Show, which was directed by Peter. I cannot pronounce his surname. It's like Weir or something.
Peter Weir.
Peter Weir. It was released the 8th of October 1985. So there is only one main actor, and that's the one and only Jim Carrey, who plays a guy called Truman Burbank. So let's start with what it's about. This film is a head fuck. It really is. It really, really is. I remember discussing it with Sean yesterday and explaining, like, I don't get this one bit, because it starts off really weirdly to the extent that you're watching it and you're just sitting there thinking, what on earth is actually going on? But the more it progresses through the film, the more you actually become to understanding it more than you did at the start. So it starts off where it gives you a sort of walkthrough of his life, where he works, what he's about, and what he's doing, sort of thing, if that makes sense. So it starts off where he's walking to work. He gets pulled by two guys who for some reason know who he is, like as if he's like a familiar person. They say something about like, oh, hi Truman, etc., etc. And then he goes into work, and it's almost as if like he's the main star of the show. And I mean, I know he is, but in the sense of like physically everyone in that town knows who he is. Like, because it's dead weird. You're watching it and you're thinking, how on earth does he know everyone in this town? Like, how on earth? But yeah, he gets to work and it shows what he does for work. He's like a salesman. He's a salesman, isn't he? Because he's got a.
I think
Because I
so,
remember
yeah.
at the start.
Are you too famous? I wish, mate.
I'm sure he's a salesman, because one of the bosses comes up to him and says he needs to hit his certain targets. And when I hear something like that, I just assume it's about sales. So yeah. So from start to finish, as a normal film goes, where it's like focused on something, it swaps between different camera angles. In the aspects, it's almost as if the film on the main camera, like you'd see when they're producing a film, and then it goes to something almost as if different characters are wearing GoPros, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Right, hidden
It's like
cameras.
everyone's wearing a camera, and this will tie into it. It's like I say, it's just showing his entire life, and like I mentioned, I'll be dead straight up and honest with you. There is going to be spoilers. I am going to ruin it, and I am going to ruin the end of the film. So if you want to watch it before listening to the rest of what I'm about to say, please watch the film.
Sorry, mate. Irish Gamer says hello.
Hello, Irish Gamer. Hello, James. Yeah, if you're not interested and you don't really want to watch a film, then that is absolutely fine with me. So, shows his life, shows what he's about, what he's doing with his life. He's got a wife. how he doesn't really. I would say he doesn't really love his wife. He was almost set up with the wrong person, if that makes sense. So it shows like a portion of his life where he's at school and he's doing like a concert sort of thing,
Yeah.
and he glances over to some woman who is she's called Lauren, and he glances over and they're both smiling at each other, and it skips to the part where another woman comes into focus when he's smiling at this other woman, and then she's a cheerleader and they become friends through that, and then like as it progresses through they become married, etc, etc. He's got one friend. I want to say it's Marlon. I think it's Marlon.
Yeah, I can't think of the top of my head what
One
it's
good
called.
friend called. I'll just call him Marlon, and you can search it later. I've got it somewhere in this, and if I get to it, I'll tell you all. So yeah, let's just get down to the main bit. So, what the film's basically about is Truman was born. Matty, can you try and back me up where he was born? There was a particular name for the
mate.
place.
I can't think what it's called now. Yeah, you caught me off guard here, mate.
It's the island of something. It's the island of something. You can all research it or watch it, so you'll get it yourself. So he was born in a sort of form of simulator, if that makes sense. So the entire film is of his life in a form of TV show. It's a live TV show, 24 hours a day. You get to watch him sleep. You get to watch how he interacts with people. He's got a certain saying. It's like, if I don't see you tomorrow, then have a good morning, evening. You know.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Yeah, that one. Yes. So it's filmed on his life, and up above the Hollywood sign in Los Angeles, there's a big, massive dome. Just think of Call of Duty, the zombie map, Moon, that big, massive muckle dome. It's like filmed in that, and it's like a whole island made for him, and well, all the other actors. It was designed by the one and only Ed Harris, who is also known as Christoph in the film. Christoph designed this world for the Truman Show, and he made this show to basically show his life. It literally shows everything. It shows him growing up, it shows him in school, it shows him getting married, to everything. At the start of the film, it shows you a scene with his father where he's in a sailboat and he wants to go and explore more, and the father tries to push from it because the father doesn't want the child Truman to know that he's in a sort of simulator, because everyone's trying to keep the secret away from him of the fact that he's not actually in real life, but he is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, he's in a simulator but he's in real life. I know that doesn't really make sense, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
They're in a boat at the start, and Truman wants to go further in the water, and it goes all tip top from there. Truman blames himself because his dad falls out, and Truman thinks his dad dies. He blames himself ever since. His boss asks him to go somewhere. I know this is not really making sense, but it'll make sense when I explain it more. Going back to where he works, his boss asks him to go and visit a different island. He gets to the point where he has to go on a ferry. Truman looks at a subsided boat that's in the water to the right of him, and it's sunk. He looks at the boat. He starts gagging. He doesn't want. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
That bit. He starts gagging at the boat under the water, and he turns around and walks away. From that point on, you can tell he's got a massive fear of the water. The film moves on. He finally, when he gets to meet this girl that he actually fancies and loves, he meets her. The girl gets taken away from him because that's not how Christoph wants the show to go down. But yeah, like I say, it's a massive simulator in a TV series.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
The thing with his dad, obviously, I don't. It was the fucked up thing about the whole situation is that he was like an orphan, and
Yeah,
he was chose to do this show. They were going to film his life from start to finish as a reality TV show, like Matty says.
yeah,
Like they literally filmed every minute of every day, and it was always on TV. Like it cut to like scenes where people are in a bar, and it's on the
yeah,
TV, and everyone's
yeah,
sat there watching it. But the thing, his dad actually wanted to tell him what the situation was, and he wanted him to be free of it. But because they
right,
lived in
of
this
course.
like, yeah, because they lived in this dome, there was like proper like weather systems in place. So they went fishing on this boat, and they turned the weather system basically to create a massive thunderstorm at sea, and basically cause it to capsize. And then obviously his dad fell in the water, and he kind of never sees him again. But there are little glimpses of his dad that he thinks he sees his dad on the bus, doesn't he? I think at one point,
Yeah.
because his dad sneaks back
No,
into the set
no.
to see him.
Yeah, what he does is he's walking through the. He's walking through. I'll just say the set or the dome, the dome city. He sees his dad walking towards him, and he's dressed as a homeless man.
Yeah, and then
The
he gets
guy's walking
ferried off,
towards
doesn't
him, and Truman looks at him and thinks, "Is that my dad?"
he? Yeah, kind of double
And then
takes, doesn't
yeah, and then he double takes him, and then they start walking towards each other as if they're going to interact with each other. And then these two people who are dressed in a suit literally walk by, grab his father, and push him onto a bus. And he tries to chase the bus, and the bus drives away. But yeah, carry on, mate.
he? Yeah, also it's just an interesting thing. Like he gradually starts to click on, doesn't he? That something's not right,
Yeah,
and that there's something strange going on because everyone seems to know what he does, and like the first thing he grabs onto is the fact that everyone does the same thing every day. So like he starts off like a little bit of a mental breakdown with his wife, doesn't he, in the car, and he's like, "Look,
yeah,
someone's gonna drive past now," and then they drive past. This person's gonna walk past with a dog now, and then they walk past and everything like that, and he kind of starts to clock on that something's amiss.
there was like a scene with a Dalmatian at the start. His neighbour, he walks out the house, and a Dalmatian would like run up to him and start barking at him like
Yeah,
aggressively. And he would get scared of that, and then it kept on happening. And as Matt kindly helped us with that, like he questions. He's like, I would like say the understanding of his life. He starts to question himself as if like, is he saying this, or is this actually really happening?
yeah,
Because there's a scene where he's driving around the town, and then the radio's speaking, and then it's telling him every single street that he's walking onto.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then it
It's
gets to the
like he
point where
taps
like this
into like
large,
their radio system, doesn't he?
yeah, like this large, like frequency noise, like the high pitch noise, like blasts through the entire town, and everyone like freezes, and like everyone's reacting the exact same, and that's yeah, he starts to question it from there on.
Yeah. So basically, the whole film then is just him figuring out different things, and he's trying
Yeah,
to escape. He finally overcomes his fear of driving
the
over the
water.
bridge. He basically shuts his eyes and just plants his foot on the accelerator and just cheeses it. And then only to find out that there's apparently a massive forest fire on the other side and he can't get across. He tries to catch a bus to, is it New York? I think he tries to
Yeah,
get a bus to. And obviously the bus driver's got people in his ear. And he starts grinding the gears, like trying to get it in thingy. He completely knackers the bus out so the bus can't go anywhere. And then I think it was the same, he tried to catch a ferry as well. Because
mhm.
his dream is to go to Fiji. That was like one little thing.
Yeah, it's
He's got a dream. He wants
um
to go to Fiji.
because the character Lauren, who he eventually falls in love with, gets grabbed away from him because it's on a scene when they're on the beach, and
Yeah,
they're talking to each other how like anyone who like are falling each other in love with, well, that didn't make sense, but whoever falls in love with each other has like a weird chat, and he's having this weird chat with the Lauren character at the very start, and she gets dragged away, and the father of Lauren says we're moving away to Fiji, and that's what gets him.
yeah,
That's that's where his obsession lies. with going to Fiji, because, like I mentioned, he gets partnered up. Obviously, the whole entire thing's like created in a TV show, so it's like,
Yeah, like everyone's an actor except him.
yeah, like it's like made so it goes a certain way, and he ends up, like I say, he ends up marrying the wrong person, someone he doesn't want to marry.
Yeah.
In this one scene where I tell you what gets him the most. There's this one scene in the film where he grabs a hold of his wife, his pretend wife, and when he grabs a hold of her, she shouts and looks up towards, as if she's looking up towards a camera, and she says something like, "Help, do something," and that's when it sparks him, and that's when he does something about it. But yeah, it spirals from there. Like that's when he
Yeah.
starts to realize this isn't real.
I think there's one like famous scene from that film. He's on the same beach he was with that woman, and it starts to rain, but there's only one little circle of rain, and it's directly on him and nowhere else. And then he walks off, and then the rain follows him, and he keeps running backwards and forwards, and there's just this one little like circle of rain just above his head, and then eventually like he just starts like screaming, doesn't he? He just like goes like weird, and then like it all starts falling down. Then it's like there was a glitch in the rain system or something.
It's pouring. It does.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, I'll quickly get the last bits and bobs listed out for you, and then I'll give you my review and how I found it, and then we can move on to the other topic. So it progresses into the film where obviously he finds out that the whole entire thing's a lie. And towards the end, there's a section in the film where, obviously, as I mentioned, the camera's filming his every move and whatever he's doing. And there's this one section where he puts a pretend, he goes to bed and he puts a pretend self. Help us with this.
Yeah, I know what you mean. He basically like he does the whole football on the pillow and pillows underneath the duvet trick to make it look like he's in bed, but he actually isn't.
And he makes a recording of himself snoring. You can see the part of the film he actually records himself. And then he puts the recorder thing right next to his bed, and it's got him snoring, so they think he's still in bed when they're watching him. And they start getting Christoph starts getting a bit superstitious about it. So he sends his Truman's friend, Marlon, or whatever his name
Marlon, yeah.
Into the building to see where he is. He always comes, it's the same every single time. I've just realised that now. When anything goes wrong, they always send his friend in with a crate of beer.
Yeah.
He always goes in with a crate of, like, a little 6-pack of beers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he always sends him in to stop whatever is going on, like for that scene where he was pretty much holding his pretend wife hostage. And he comes in with a crate of beer. But further on to the conversation about him faking himself being asleep, he eventually breaks out. He goes into the wardrobe and cuts like a hole into like the outside bit, and that's where it all starts to make sense to him. Gets onto a boat and he starts sailing away to try and sail towards Fiji. Christoph tries to basically kill him. I would say he generally tries to kill him.
Yeah, he creates another storm, doesn't he?
Yeah, he puts the weather system to like full capacity. He puts the wind all the way up. He puts the rain all the way up, and he puts the sea to like tidal waves. And he gets subsided. He gets pushed into the water, and they all think he's dead. They all think he's drowned, but he hasn't. He gets back up and he starts reevaluating, and then the boat like gradually sails away, and it gets to a point where the boat like crushes through the set, and that's when he realizes. The sun comes up. He's crashed into it. He steps off the boat, and then he tries knocking into the wall. He tries breaking through. because obviously the ship's broke through itself, and so he eventually tries to break through himself. He can't do it, so he actually steps off onto the platform. That's like situated
Yeah, there's
around the
like
door.
around the sea. There's just like a walkway.
And then there's these stairs. He goes up the stairs, and Christoph finally wants to talk to him because obviously he's realised that this is all fake. Christoph explains to him that his entire life has been a TV show. He explains that he's been filmed for his entire life, and Christoph has watched him grow since he was a child. Um, and yeah, he finally gets out. He finally gets to go into the real world, which I'll mention something in a minute, and I was massively disappointed by. And I talked about this earlier, and he made a good, valid point, which I'll mention. Uh, Christoph allows him to leave, and he leaves, but he turns around and he says his famous saying to the camera and to everyone watching. And this, as I mentioned at the start, it's like, if I don't see you tomorrow, then have a good tomorrow night, and you know what I mean. You'll
Yeah.
see
Good morning,
yourself.
good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
That's the one. Yeah, and he finally gets to leave. Before I go on to my review and stuff, is there anything you want to try and help us with? If there's anything you think I've missed out on, because bear in mind,
I think so.
I think Matt's seen it more than once.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times.
And I did initially say this is not a film I would go back to and watch again, but I can't actually confirm I will go back and watch this again. I'll just quickly check my book and see if there's anything I've missed out, like anything
Yeah.
important.
So I don't think there was anything overly important that you've missed there. Obviously, there is the whole thing. He's tried to find that girl again, hasn't he?
Yeah,
But he was going off his memory of her face, and he'd get like clippings of magazines
yeah,
and
that's
whatnot,
right. That's
and
another
he'd
thing.
try and piece the face together. Because she tried to break it to him when they were in like college, I think it was, when they met. Obviously, when they had that bit on the beach and they finally, admitted their feelings, she kind of says, "Oh, we can't do this. It's not real," something like that. And then
Yeah.
obviously her dad comes, well, her pretend dad comes speeding down and drags her away and takes her away and never sees her again. And that was like his whole life was him basically trying to find this girl again.
Yeah.
I found it funny that there's funny parts as well where like towards the start where they're just living their normal life in the kitchen, and he's like, "Oh, honey, what are you doing?" Whatever, and she's like, basically doing like an advert within the thing. We're using the new potato peeler 3000, da 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 da, and it's like quite clearly staged. And he even looks at it and goes, "Why are you talking like that?" And she goes, "Talking like what? I didn't do anything." It's just that bit's quite comical.
Or when they're in the garden and he's doing gardening, and it's literally showing it like the image on the screen is literally his arse.
Yeah.
And him digging into the ground, and it says it's like an advert for like a lawnmower, and she's like, "Oh, you've missed a spot," and she's wearing like the old nurse's outfit that old nurses used to wear back in the day.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's mental. But there's a couple of things that we can't, and I will be honest, there's a couple of things we can't actually learn from the film, because even though it's a film, it's a film with a message. And I've written two things down myself. Obviously, one of the main ones is, and I definitely think this follows into it, life is nothing without taking risks. Purely because of the fact he risked his own life to see if his like suspicions were true, to see if like everything was fake. And in the film, you can see like Truman's quest begins.
Yes, Cody. Sorry, Cody's just joined the stream.
When he started to question what he if you're wondering, I'm actually reading the thing I've written down myself. So in the film, you can see that Truman's quest began when he started to question what he had taken for granted. In many situations, we go through life making assumptions about like our own self, and others that greatly limit our possibilities. This section where I'm reading from now is actually from an article that I stole. That greatly limit our possibilities. We assume that we can't find a better job or succeed in business. We accept what others tell us about
That's true.
ourselves,
Constant
which
live in
I
fear.
which I think follows pretty well into the film, if I'm honest. But yeah, if there's anything else you want to input, Matty,
No man,
get
go
them
for it.
get
Go
them
for
put in.
your review. What you rating it?
What am I rating it?
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a solid 4.5
out of 5.
out of 5.
Fucking go on,
The
son.
reason the reason why it's not a 5, and Matty will know why I'm about to say what I'm about to say. The reason why is because it's almost as if it's a cliffhanger. Well, it is a cliffhanger because it doesn't really go into great detail. And as Matty kindly pointed out earlier, when we were speaking off live, they could have made an entire film on the next section that I'm about to mention. So it gets to the point where he finally gets out, and he turns around, says his famous saying, leaves, and that's it. The credit rolls. It doesn't show. It doesn't show him seeing Lauren on the outside. It doesn't show him interacting with all the actors who he's been interacting with his entire life. Um, he just has no. It doesn't show you like furthermore onto the story, which I thought would have been great. I would have loved to have seen how he interacted when he seen Lauren for the first time, because she picked up her stuff and went straight away to see him. You could definitely tell that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
He upped and got himself out straight away, and it didn't really show. It didn't really show anything to do with like how he reacted as soon as he got out. But like Matt mentioned to us earlier, they could have physically done it like a second film, as you will, towards it, to show
Yeah.
how his life like progressed on when he actually got out of the place. I just wish we had seen some form of idea of what he, because I mean, even though we can imagine what he got up to when he got out, it would have been nice to see like firsthand what he was doing. Like,
But again, the weird thing is, if you think about it, he'd probably have the same situation as when he left. Because
yeah,
this TV show was that popular, he'd probably go around everywhere and people go, "Oh, hello, Truman. You alright, Truman? How you doing today, Truman?" They know who he is.
yeah, that's
So I
true.
think it would be interesting. I don't know. I'm not sure why they never did make another film. They could have,
Yeah,
but it was probably for the best that they probably did leave it there.
yeah,
So I don't think it would have done true to the story if they did do another film, because I think they'd just come up with some stupid storyline of, oh, he's trying to find this girl, he finds her, and then that's it. You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely. Um, but nonetheless, I thought it was an excellent film. I really did. I don't. I think the only bad thing I've got to say about it is how much of a head fuck it is at the very start, because you literally have no idea what's going on,
Yeah.
and you really don't have any idea what's going on. It's one of them films where it is good because it captivates. If that's, I'm sure that's a word.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say it captures your mind from start to finish, because it's always got you thinking what on earth is going on.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, massively recommend it to whoever's watching it, whoever's listening to my gobshite. I hope you've enjoyed. To be fair,
To be fair, Matt, it was better than last week's.
yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know if Matt would agree, but I would definitely say it was better than last week's. I was more. I mean, even though I'll be honest, it was still jumbled up to the extent that I was still getting mixed up. But I think I explained it enough where you'd
Yeah.
understand it more than you would
Yeah.
with my Patch Adams review. But yeah, honestly, if you have any physical questions, like anyone watching the live stream now, if you have any physical questions, get them in. If you want to know more about it, get them in. And same for you lovely people who are watching on YouTube. If you have any physical questions in regards to what I've talked about or whatever we've talked about today, don't be afraid to do so.
I'll just put the link to the YouTube in the chat if anyone hasn't saw us over there already. Obviously we record the podcast here live on Twitch, on my twitch.tv/Burbsy, and then obviously the day after it's It's uploaded up to YouTube for anyone that couldn't make it. So yeah, go follow us on there just in case you miss it in the future. What is your perfect day? Cody's asked.
What's my perfect day?
Yeah, that's what he says. What is your perfect day?
How do you mean? Like, how do you mean? What's my
I'm not
perfect
quite
day?
sure on that context of that question either, to be honest. Yeah. Should we move on to our next section of the podcast?
I'm ready.
Oh, there you
I'm
go.
ready.
Cody, he's put, how would you spend your perfect day? There you go. Basically.
My perfect day would to be wake up in the morning, do whatever I need to do in the morning, get dressed and what have you. Get straight up and out. Oh, voice break there. Get straight up and out the house. Then probably go shopping and buy like something really expensive, like a car. My dream day would be wake up, have millions in the bank, go and buy an amazing car, come home and just play on Xbox or do a podcast or whatever, and eat some amazing food for tea. Go ahead, Matty. I know that's weird. That's just my personal preference.
Off the top of my head, my perfect day would probably wake up somewhere sunny. So preferably somewhere on holiday.
Cornwall, let's go.
Either Cornwall or maybe Spain, somewhere like that. You know, you're in like a hotel or something, or you know, you're in like a massive mansion. You ain't got to do anything. You ain't got to cook for yourself because you got people to do it. You ain't got to get yourself a drink because there are people that do it. And you know, just have a day, you know, with my partner, my daughter. Have a nice family day. Maybe go travelling, explore. You know what I mean?
That
And then
cough was to say, "Where's my invite?" I'm joking, guys.
Matty lives in the shed.
I live in the shed. I've got my own big, massive muckle shed.
He's got his own little hatch. Presses a bell. Ding. Food. Nah, but yeah, go exploring, find something new, and then you know, come home, have a massive dinner that's cooked for you, and then you know, just chill out, watch a film or something. Perfect day.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
What could be more better? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right, let's move on to our top 10 favourite games of all time. Basically, me and Matty have created a separate top 10. So I've got my top 10. Matty's got his top 10. We'll work from 10 down. Obviously, number 1 being our favourite. We'll work out that way. Obviously, if anyone has got any games that they want to add to the discussion, or you know they want to bring up, if you guys in the chat now want to put your top 10 in, I'm happy for that to go, and we'll read them out and compare. You'll probably find that there are games in here that are similar across everyone's. Sorry, the weird gasper there. I'll start. My number 10. Purely for, I think, kind of like nostalgic reasons for me. I spent a lot of hours on this game with friends. It was just like a community thing. Was Destiny, the original Destiny game that came out. I can't even remember when it came out. Like 2014, 2015. I've just got good memories of doing the raid with the lads every Tuesday. It was like a religious thing. Every Tuesday you were on that PlayStation, no matter what happened. You're on after. Well, we were at college at the time. After college, you go home, you turn Destiny on. We all partner up and we go to the raid and kill Crota or Atheon. Boom! Great feeling. Absolute great feeling.
One game I never actually managed to get into. It's one game I never played.
It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's a grind.
Number 2, didn't they?
Yeah, number 2 was pants.
That's free now. That's free to play now.
Number 2 was pants. Destiny 1 was incredible. Even the PvP was good.
Right. Okay. So my favourite top 10, right? The number 10 is Mirror's Edge.
Mirror's Edge. I never actually played that properly. I only ever played like 5 minutes of it.
Mirror's Edge was a fantastic game. It was basic, but it was a good game. It was one of them games where I mean, like any game like you mentioned there, it's a game that you can like lose your mind into. There's not many missions of it. There's not many missions, about 10 or 15, probably not even that. And from start to finish, I would generally say from start to finish, even though it's not massive action, it's still a really really good game. It grabs your attention like straight away.
Yeah.
Because you're this free runner, and your sister gets kidnapped, and it's like a game where you have to try and like save your sister, and like you've got people coming after you. It's just an amazing game. I'm not going to go into grave detail about it, but honestly, it's a fantastic game. Oh, get yourself your go, Matty. Go on.
Okay, my number 9 on this list. I don't know whether obviously it's expected, but for me it'd be Need for Speed Underground 2 on the PS2. That game was one of the best racing games I've ever played, even to this day. Literally craps on any game that's come out recently, especially Need for Speed. Every Need for Speed lately has just been the same for me. It's just every single one's the same. It's like, oh, whatever. I'm not interested in it anymore. But Underground 2 was like original. There was no other game like it. It was just a sense of, you could create whatever car you wanted basically, and then race it around the streets of, I think it's LA. I think it's set.
Yeah,
it's an absolutely fantastic game. I want a remaster. 100% need a remaster.
I'd love a remaster of the old. Well, they've already done it for one of them.
Yeah.
They've done Hot Pursuit, which that was one of my favourite Need for Speeds.
Yeah.
That was not many people favoured it, but when I was a kid, that was my first Need for Speed, because I didn't grow up with a PS2.
Yeah.
Need for Speeds for some reason.
Mate, even the soundtrack to Underground 2 was brilliant.
Yeah.
You just turn it on and Riders on the Storm comes on. Oh, what a tune. What a tune.
Good shout, that. It was a really good shout, that.
Right, mate.
I even thought of that.
Your number 9.
Oh. My number 9 is going to be quite surprising to a lot of people. And I would have put this near at the beginning, near my top 1, if it had have been as good as the original. Jurassic World Evolution. You wouldn't expect that to be 9, given how much of a fanatic I am. I mean, I have got a Jurassic Park t-shirt on as we speak. But yeah, so Jurassic World Evolution is just a game where you make your own park. Your world is your desire when it comes to making as many dinosaurs as you bloody want. You can make anything from a Velociraptor to an Indominus Rex if you're pleased to do so, or an Indoraptor if you really want to, but personally I don't. But yeah, it was a great game. I did find it really good. And funny enough, I'm actually playing through it for all you lovely people or whoever's watching on my stream, or whenever Matty's on as well. I am making my own world for you guys at the minute. But yeah, Jurassic World Evolution is number 9 for me.
Okay. Just a quick heads up. I am going to. I'm making a list of yours as well, Matty, and I'm going to put them on the Facebook page as well. So if you haven't already, go check us out on Facebook. Literally just search the Matty Media Cast and you'll see us on there. Go give us a follow, and obviously you can catch me and Matty on there whenever.
We could even do a live stream on Facebook if we're so wished. Yeah. To be fair.
Yeah, we could do. Yeah. So that's probably the best way to contact us if we're not streaming. If you find us on our Facebook and we can contact you on there. Move on to number 8.
Here's your number 8.
I'm going for another racing game. My number 8 is Gran Turismo 5.
Never really played that series, to be fair.
I mean, it was like, I don't know why, but they changed it a lot from number 6 to now Sport, which is obviously the current one. Number 5 was just different. there was a lot more. It seemed like there was a lot more to do on there. There's a lot more cars, and I just love the fact that there was more customization to your cars as well. Like, you could literally buy anything. Like, you could buy used cars off the store, and then you could literally like upgrade the performance like however much you wanted. I mean, you couldn't do a lot visual wise, so you could probably like change the rims and put a spoiler on or whatever, maybe a body kit or something. You couldn't really do a lot more, which they have rectified that, because on sport now you can basically make whatever livery you want, to be fair. But Gran Turismo 5, I remember the first car I bought was a Nissan Skyline, and literally I upgraded it that much that I used it for the whole single player campaign. By the end of it, I think this Nissan Skyline was like 1,050 brake horsepower and was like maxing out at 250 miles an hour. It was incredible. It was literally the greatest car ever. Literally, I was like beating Bugatti Veyrons and everything. It was amazing, absolutely incredible. But I just love the fact there was different features on there. Like, the main career was called A Spec, and then they had something called B Spec as well. B Spec was more like you were a racing manager. So you'd have your car, but you'd put like an AI driver in your car, and you could basically like tell them what to do, kind of thing. You were to manage them to see if they can win the race. It was just, there's never really been any other game I found like that. It just stood out for me, and I spent a lot of time playing that game back in the day on PS3, I think it was. So yeah, that's my number 8, Gran Turismo 5.
Now, you know, for my number 8, you're gonna find this quite funny, because my number 8's a racing game as well. But I couldn't really pick one of them. I didn't play number 1. What I've put is the Forza Horizon series.
Okay.
I couldn't pinpoint just one of them, so I've just put the series instead. Now, I played from Forza Horizon 2 onwards, and every game I've played since number 2, Forza Horizon 2, it goes up to 4 now. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Like, it was so exciting. And I mean, I would definitely say me and Matty are both car fanatics as much as like game fanatics as well. Like, I'm obsessed with my cars. Like, name a car and I'll talk to you about that.
I got a little F1 car on my desk.
There we are. See, exactly, like, and if I had to physically, I mean, I'm not gonna like pinpoint one, but if I had to physically pick a favourite I've got, it would probably be Forza Horizon 3. That one was fantastic. That was set in the outback of Australia. You'd have the city down in I can't remember the name of it. But you had the main city, then you had the outback with the desert and stuff. It was fantastic. Like, one of the things I think a lot of these car games are lacking now is the lack of customization. Even though they are getting better and you can physically customize it visually, I just think in the aspects of customization, what I think a lot of games are lacking now, and Need for Speed Heat was one of the first games I know that tried to do something about it, is when, like, picture this, when you try and change an exhaust on a game, you'd expect it to make some form of like adjustment to the sound, like as any normal exhaust would in real life. But yeah, a lot of games are lacking that ability to change your exhaust and then to have your car like incredibly loud.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you could make like a GTR 1000+ brake horsepower, and you'd expect something like that to be extremely loud.
Yeah, popping.
And it just wasn't.
Yeah. May? I think May's gone. We seem to be having some technical difficulties. Right, sorry for that little brief interruption there. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. Clearly, recording this on a Sunday doesn't go very well.
I'll be honest, my phone ran out, and I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't mean to let it get to that point of it running out. But hey ho.
Yeah, so
right.
We'll just carry on from where we was. Matty, you were talking about Forza Horizon.
Yep.
That was your number 8.
Forza Horizon 3. What I was saying before is I think a lot of games now are lacking like my main issue with a lot of racing games is now the hamsters are deciding to run. My my big issue with a lot of games nowadays is the lack of exhaust sounds. I think it's crazy when you change an exhaust, you expect it to sound so much better.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But yeah, right. You start talking for the rest of yours, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
get the hamsters out of the room while you tell everyone your number 7.
We'll move on to my number 7. My number 7 is, it's difficult to. There's a lot of these games, as everyone will know. My number 7 is Call of Duty World at War. And my reasoning for World at War being one of my favourites was for multiple different reasons. For me, it stood out quite a lot from the other ones, the other Call of Duties. I mean, I'll get my words out in a minute. The campaign mode was just brilliant. The storyline to that was just next level. You were fully immersed, felt like you were in World War Two. It was brilliant.
Which Call of Duty was that?
World at War.
Right.
So that's my number 7. Call of Duty World at War. The zombie mode was just original. At that point in time when it first came out, there was no other game that had anything remotely similar to that. Obviously, there have been other games that have like kind of resembled the zombie mode, but it was just so fresh and new, and I just remember being so hyped up about it. But still, to this day, it's my favourite zombie mode out of any of the Call of Duties, out of any of the Black Ops. World at War takes it number 1 spot every time for me. The multiplayer as well, even the multiplayer was brilliant. I mean, I know as every Call of Duty multiplayer, there's overpowered guns that everyone seems to use, but it just seemed there was a lot more variety. The maps were really good, that they catered for different styles of play. You kind of had to adapt to each map, different play styles, which I think was good. Obviously, there was maps where you know, if you didn't have a sniper, you were like worse off for it, and then there were obviously small maps where you couldn't really snipe. Yeah, Call of Duty World at War, absolutely brilliant for me. Absolutely brilliant.
There was one map from that game that always grabbed my attention, and it was the one that was underground, and the roof had been caved in with a bomb, and there was like metro trains all over. There was like one side to it, and there was the other side.
Yeah, I can't think what that's called now. Oh my god, not prepared at all.
Right, my 7th game was the Simpsons game.
Which one?
Simpsons, like the actual like the Simpsons.
Oh, it's
game.
called the Simpsons game. Oh yeah, I think I played that on the Nintendo Wii.
I played it, funny enough, on the PSP. That's when I played the Simpsons game, and I thought it was a fantastic game. I mean, it doesn't succeed the expectations of the other one that I'm about to mention soon, the hit and run one. It doesn't live up to as good as being on the same level as that.
Yeah.
But it was still a game that I could literally pick up my PSP and just play for hours.
Yeah.
And just like have it on. I thought the structure of it, the missions that you played were basic, but it was still an amazing game for the time it was released. I cannot remember when it was released. I don't think it was.
No, it was.
The PSP was like 2000.
I think it was the late 2000s, early 2010s, maybe.
Yeah. And I remember playing it on then and absolutely loving it. But yeah.
Simpsons game.
That's my number 7. My number 7.
Where's it? November 2007. That came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. I agree with that. That's a fairly good shout. My number 6, a game that's still in circulation today and has been for the last however many years, and seems it's going to be around for another many years, is GTA 5. The game that will not die.
Yeah.
It will never go away, because they can even bring out new consoles, and you know what? They're going to bring it to that console as well.
Yep, they are.
They physically are. Yeah, that's my number 6, GTA 5.
GTA,
It's
GTA 6 isn't even a thing.
no, it's just it was groundbreaking, wasn't it? Really, when it first came out.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's one of the highest grossing games ever. Um, obviously, it was like the first game where you had three playable main characters. Obviously, the online is as big as it is. It's huge. Basically, it's a standalone game within a game. The storyline was pretty good. Obviously, you've got all the different heists and stuff like that you do, and it's just one of them games. It's lived on this long because of how good it was.
yeah, agreed. Definitely agreed.
Yeah. So, what's your number 6, mate?
My number 6. Not a lot of people would have heard of this, but Feed Frenzy.
Feeding Frenzy.
Feed Frenzy is a weird game that not a lot of people would recognise just off the bat of me saying it. So basically, and I'll explain why it's
I'm gonna say
one of my
I've
favourite
I've
games.
never heard of this before.
Feed Frenzy was like that Hungry Shark evolution, where you'd start off as a tiny fish, you'd have
Oh
to
yeah,
go
yeah,
around eating other
yeah,
fish to then evolve to an even bigger fish, and so on and so on. You would get to the point where you would become an orca whale or a shark, and you just have to keep eating and eating and eating. And like it had different, like a bit like Mario, where Mario had different little levels that you
yeah.
progress on to each time. Um, it was dead basic for what it is. I recommend everyone trying it because if you've got an Xbox or you've got a PC, try it. And the reason being is when I was a kid, me and my dad used to play that all the time, and I remember having dead like fond memories of me and him just sitting down on like a dining chair and like playing it for hours throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
Like Plants vs Zombies was another thing that me and him were obsessed with, and it just like there's certain games that bring like fond memories back, and that's one of them that sticks in my head for like forever. But
Yeah.
yeah, what's
Yeah,
your
man.
fifth, Matty?
Yeah. Obviously, people remember that this is our personal favourite top 10. Obviously, there's games that people might not agree with, but it is what it is,
Yeah,
unfortunately. My number 5, I'm sticking with the GTA. This one tops it for me, and it's GTA 4.
cracking game. I can't agree anymore.
Yeah. For me, it was just, again, it was like a groundbreaking game. It was just completely different to what every other, even the old GTAs were. It was like unique in itself. Obviously, the story mode again was brilliant. Even the online was good. I mean, the online is nothing compared to what it is now, but
Yeah,
even the online was really enjoyable. Um, yeah, it there's a lot of different factors. The characters in there, um, that they make it what it is as well.
Nico was
Um,
a fantastic character.
yeah,
Like
even
even
the
Roman.
radio stations. I mean that there's something so silly as like the music that plays, but even the radio stations, the soundtrack
Yeah,
makes it for me as well. It was
definitely.
just
I couldn't agree more.
an overall great game.
Couldn't agree more.
What's your number 5, Matty?
This is going to throw everyone off guard, and this is going to shock everyone because if this came out of Matty's mouth, it would probably shock me as well. I don't know if everyone remembers it, but Space Pinball on the PC, the basic Space
Oh,
Pinball.
I remember this.
I know that's daft, but Space Pinball at the era of its time, when it was one of them starting games that you get for free on the PC, I
Yeah,
just remember having fond memories of that as well, and just like pulling down the little pin to shoot the pinball up, and using the arrows to like keep the pinball up and shoot it off
yeah, yeah.
every score point. Yeah, I love that. It's basic, but I loved it.
Yeah, I remember playing that on the computer we had at home
Yeah.
at my mum's. Like, it was the only thing I was allowed to go on the computer for. So whenever it was like a privilege
To be
to play
honest,
Space Pinball.
it was a brilliant game. But to be honest, guys, I've literally
Shauna.
got nothing more to say because of how basic it is. Like
Shauna
basic of a
agrees.
game.
She just put yes, Matty.
Right now,
Right,
what's your fourth
we're
one?
going into the top four now. My number four, an absolutely fantastic game which I can just play over and over and over again. Never get bored of the
Skyrim.
story. Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Skyrim. My bad, my
Nah,
bad.
Fallout New Vegas was such an amazing game. Even though it's a game that's still to this day full of glitches, it still seems broken in parts, but it's just that good. It, you know what I mean? It just covers all the bad things about it. Everything is just amazing. I could literally sit and play Fallout New Vegas for the rest of my life. I won't care.
I literally didn't play much of the Fallout series. I played 4, loved that.
Yeah,
Played a little bit of 3. In Fallout New Vegas has always been a shouted out game for being an amazing game. I might have to check it out. To be fair,
yeah. Honestly, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Every part of it was just amazing.
Yeah, I'll definitely if you really recommend that, I'll definitely have to try it. Like,
Yeah, man.
definitely.
Definitely recommend it to anyone.
My number 4 is what I was going to say before. The Simpsons Hit and Run.
What an
The
OG
time that
game.
was the time that was released was the pinnacle of my GTA when I was allowed before I was allowed to play GTA. Um,
It was
Simpsons
GTA.
Hit and yeah, like Simpsons Hit and Run was like, I mean, even though you couldn't pull out a gun and just randomly shoot someone on the street, it, it was good. Like being able to jump in the rocket car and just like drive insanely fast around the map, and like driving through the nuclear power plant
Yeah,
underneath and jumping up the ramps. Oh, I thought that was fantastic. Every every section of it had like a fun
yeah,
part. Like it's great because it had different little hints of other games in. Like for example, it had like Crazy Taxi in it, where you could become a taxi. I think that was its own game, but I know in Hit and Run you could become a taxi driver and do what you do in Crazy Taxi, where you had to get people to a certain destination in the
yeah,
time that it gave you. And I just remember playing that for hours on end. As soon as I come in from primary school, it'd be straight on the PS2, and I would be playing that for the rest of the
yeah.
night. Wouldn't come out my bedroom, would just play that.
Yeah, the thing I love about the hit and run was the fact that you could obviously there's different characters, but there was different areas as well. So it
Hmm.
weren't just one map where you do X amount of missions in this one map. There was literally like you do X amount of missions as Homer in like their house area, like the main bit of Springfield. Like you could go to the Quickie Mart and the school and the nuclear power plant or whatever. But then when you unlock the next hit, you play as Bart and you're in the city area of Springfield, and you're driving around, and then then you play Lisa and you're at the beach, and then you play as Marge and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It was just a brilliant game. You could literally just play for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. It was. I agree with that one, mate.
you're
That's
not
a
wrong.
that's a
You're really not.
great shout.
What's yours,
Right,
mate?
top three territory now. This is where it
Mm-hmm.
gets interesting.
And if I don't see one of these games that I'm about to mention in my top 3, in this top 3, I'm going to be so sad. But go on.
I think I know what you're on about, and yeah. Um, my number three, I think Matty would probably think this is my number one, but is Mafia 2.
Yeah, you do love that, to be fair.
I remember seeing the demo for it before it even came out, and I'd never even heard of it before. But I was exploring new games, and I played this demo of Mafia 2, and literally from the minute I turned it on, I was hooked. I was like, oh my god, this game is incredible. And I had to wait months and months and months for it to come out, and I just remember being so hyped up about it to the point where it came out, and again, I was literally like blown away from start to finish. The storytelling in that game is absolutely brilliant. I would like it to have been a little bit more free roam, and obviously it's like set in chapters, but it was just absolutely brilliant. It was the first game I ever platinumed on PlayStation. I ever grinded out getting the platinum trophy for, and it was an absolute like nose to do because you had to find. I think the one trophy that took me the longest, you had to find all the wanted posters throughout the city, and there was some stupid like about 100 of them, and they were literally dotted everywhere to the point where in the old games where you'd get a map in the case, the world map. I literally followed through. I watched a YouTube video with all of the locations on, and I marked them on this map, and then I'd literally go to each one and cross them off as I was getting them. That was the extent I went to just to get the platinum trophy.
I still haven't got a platinum trophy. I'm still not 100% of the game.
I can't remember how many I've got now. They were like 5 or 6 maybe. Destiny was one of them.
Right. Now in my head I've actually just swapped the one around. So this should have actually been second. But I'm going to make it my third one, which a lot of people would not expect.
Yeah.
I wanted to put it first, but it hasn't been put first. My third one is Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. Pretty much exactly what I said about 9. My number 9, which was Jurassic World Evolution. But Jurassic Park Operation Genesis was like, it was fucking amazing. Like, this only comes from me because of, I mean, you're gonna get sick of it, but as much as I tell you I'm a Jurassic Park fanatic, I physically mean that. Like, I've never been so obsessed. Like, because everyone's got their own obsession when it comes to a film or a game. But I've never been so obsessed with a series in my entire life. And I could physically talk you to the point of death about this entire series because I'm obsessed. Jurassic Park Operation Genesis was so basic of building your park, being able to go out into Isla Nublar and drive around in the Ford Explorer, the car that they send the tours, Alan and the kids around on the tour. Being able to drive around and seeing a carnivore like a velociraptor, and for it to run up to you and sprint at you and attack your vehicle, and it would like show physical damage to your car. It was so scary as well, which I loved. I mean, it's nothing as scary as something like Outlast. If you want to watch Matty get shit scared of Outlast,
Don't mention that.
Yeah, it was honestly, Operation Genesis was so basic, but it was so fun. Like this is what saddens me about Jurassic World Evolution, because there's so much they could have implemented into that game from the original Operation Genesis. It's crazy. Like, they had like the Ford Explorer tour vehicles, even though you can make like a tour in your own park with the gyrosphere, and the trucks that drove around in the wilderness in the game on Evolution. There's so many things. I mean, I know Jurassic World and Park are two different. I mean, they are the same series, but like different in their own little way.
Sorry, Matty. Sean has just put something in the chat that's quite funny.
Is she taking the mick out of me being obsessed with Jurassic Park?
No, she just put, I've just decided, you know those 8-foot dino suits that people wear and run around in? I'm going to buy you two one, make you wear them, and when you finally meet, I'm going to record you running to each other hugging. Mate, that is... I'm telling you, that's a great idea, that is.
It is a good idea.
I would literally drive in that dino suit if I had to. I'd drive all the way there in the suit, hanging my head out the window like, yeah! Sorry, mate, carry on.
Right, I like that idea. Yeah, such a basic game. A shame that they haven't implemented stuff from the original into the new one. But yeah, that's my number 3. What's your number? Your number 2.
My number 2. It's one of them games. Again, I could just play for days and days and days, and it is Minecraft on the PC. I know a lot of people wouldn't expect that to be in the top 10, but for me, it's like such a game that just could again live on forever. It's it's always something different. It's, you know what I mean? It's not the same thing every time. You can literally jump into a world and just create anything you put your mind to, and it's just so relaxing. It's just like an escape. Minecraft is to me. It's like if you've had a stressful day, you've whatever happened, just jump into Minecraft, put some music on, and just chill out.
Just lose yourself.
And you literally lose yourself in it, and you know what I mean. You're like a separate thing. One world's there, and you're in Minecraft world, and it's a place of peace and serenity.
And you could make as many worlds as you want. That's the amazing part about it.
Yep. So that's my number 2.
Right, my number 2, and I don't think Matt, you would have expected this. I think you would have expected it to be number 1, but it could be a close contender to be number 1. But my number 2 is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
I know it.
Call of Duty 4 was the pinnacle of my gaming time. Even though I was obsessed with PS2 and Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, this is where my love for games truly began, I would say. I remember playing that. I would get in from secondary school. I'd be on it all day from the time I got in. I was obsessed with COD 4, and it's great that if we haven't already told you, and I'm sure we have told you, this is literally how me and Matt became friends. If that, as well as Feeding Frenzy, that brings fond memories back from when I was a kid. Because obviously, as we've told you, it was such a surreal moment of being what's your favourite football team, to what's your name, and to being to the point where it would literally be so spot on, to the point it was a shock.
It was weird. Honestly, that's the only way you can think. It was weird.
Yeah.
I've never known two people have so much in common straight away. Everything we spoke about that we liked was we had it in common straight away. I like that as well. And it weren't bullshit whatever, I like it as well, but it was genuine. We both had a genuine interest in it, and it was mad. It genuinely was such a weird feeling.
It's to even think back to it now, it's just mad to think how it's generated from being just friends on COD 4 to them becoming friends on Facebook, to it's getting to the point where we're doing our own podcast together now.
Yeah.
It's mad. I loved playing COD with Matty, and we would have I'm sure Matty would agree, would have so many funny moments and funny things where it was just the pinnacle of playing on a console with someone
bug bed donos.
Yeah.
You want to watch out, Sean, because you're gonna get replaced in a minute. You can go live up Newcastle, and I'll fucking stay here. Actually, no, I'll go live up Newcastle. You can stay here.
Come on, son. You can come up.
Nah, man. But yeah, I agree.
Call of Duty 4 was it was fantastic for me. And even if Matt doesn't put this as number 1, because I know there's going to be another game in front of it for number 1. I still know that even though he's totally his top 10, I still think COD 4 is in the top 10, but just not to our extent. But tell me your number 1. Can we get a drum roll,
so
please?
we're on number 1. As Matty says, COD 4 was a brilliant game, but I didn't feel like it just missed my top 10. It was close. It'd been my number 11.
At least I know I put COD 4 forward both.
But my number 1 would be Skyrim.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I knew Skyrim was coming.
I know I said I was really hyped for Mafia 2, but I have never been so excited to play a game in my life than Skyrim. I was literally buzzing my tits off to get it. But I remember, because I was at that age where I couldn't exactly go and get it myself, so it was you've got to wait for it for Christmas. And I knew for a fact that my nan was going to buy it me for Christmas because she said, "What do you want?" And I said, "Skyrim." Obviously, she got my mum to buy it her, and obviously, she just got it for my nan to give me. But the thing was, we always did Christmas at our house, and then we went to my nan's on Boxing Day. So I had to wait until Boxing Day to get it, and I remember being so gutted that I had to wait for Boxing Day. But I remember getting home from my nan's, but it was late. I think it was like 10 o'clock at night. We got back home, and I literally stayed up until 11 o'clock the next day playing Skyrim. I was just that pumped to play it. It's just like it was such a surreal feeling. I'd literally give anything, right? And I don't know if you'd agree with this. I would give anything to go back and play a game for the first time.
Yeah.
Because it is such a amazing feeling jumping in a game for the first time, and I could say that with any of these games on this top 10, that I'd literally give anything to play them again for the first time.
It'd be even more amazing if we could go back to it, but like be the age that we're at now. Like,
but I have no memory of it.
I wish I had never have played Operation Genesis, because I can't, as much as I've favoured it right now, because if I had played it now for the first time, honestly, I would be amazed. But yeah.
Yeah. What's your number one, Matty?
My number one. My number one is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. 100%, 110%. I loved San Andreas with all my heart. I fucking loved that game. I remember, it was close because Vice City nearly made number one. Because I remember, I'll quickly insert something. When I was a kid, I remember getting up at and my mum hated me for this. I remember getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Bearing in mind I was only about 5 or 6. Getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, sneaking downstairs to the point where my mum would put the alarm on, and I'd be so sneaky. I'd know the sensor points of the living room to where I could put my feet so that alarm did not go off, and I would sit my arse down on that PC and put Vice City on, and I'd be hooked on that. But going back to it, San Andreas was incredible. I remember being obsessed with putting cheats in. It was the first game I played where I had a proper interaction with cheats and stuff. I remember when I was a kid, and I remember going to Granger Games as a kid and looking at the book of San Andreas and with the cheat codes and the official guides. If anyone ever remembers the official guides of these games, and thinking, I want that game booklet, and I never got it.
No.
But I've got it now.
That was a good thing about that for me as well, was the fact that the cheats were actually a part of the game. It's not like you were hacking or anything. They were put there by Rockstar for you to actually use. And there's no other game like that, is there really? You got to tip your hat to Rockstar for the games they make. They are incredible. I thought when I was reading out my list then, I thought, where the hell's San Andreas? Why have I not put San Andreas in there?
I'm going to quick grab something.
Yeah. Thinking about it, San Andreas it's close. Again, I'd put it like my number 12 on that list if I had to. But yeah, it was brilliant. Another game you could spend hours and hours and hours playing. It was like the first real free roam game where you could literally just drive around anywhere. And I also like the fact that it was set in 3 different cities. So obviously GTA 5 is just in Los Santos, which is obviously Los Angeles. GTA 4 is only in I can't even think what it's called now. Liberty City, which is obviously New York. San Andreas is literally set in 3 different cities, which is next level. Like Los Santos, there's I can't think what they're called now, but basically San Francisco, and then Las Vegas as well, which again none other GTA is like it.
That's another thing. Everyone was so obsessed with putting a new island into San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto 5, and then they put the shit that they put in. And it's like they could have literally have put San Fierro in or Las Vegas
That's
back
the one I
into
was
it.
thinking. San Fierro.
Las Vegas and San Andreas was fucking incredible. Like, I used to love it.
The army base for me. Area 51.
And that as well, the original Fort Sankudo and that. So many memories, man. And being able to go into a hangar and take out like a 747 like aeroplane, and
it was brilliant, wasn't it? It was great.
It was amazing. I'll be quick with this one, and then we can get on to whatever else we're talking. Yeah, as I said, when I was a kid, I always wanted the original San Andreas official guide, not the one with the cheats in, with like the information about the cars, the maps, everything like that. And I always taught myself when I was a kid, because my mum would never buy it, given the fact that it was an 18 rated game.
Yeah.
My mum always taught me no, and I said to myself from a young age, when I'm older, I will be buying that book. I do not care how much I pay. And I'm sure I paid about, funny enough, back in the day, this when I was a kid was about like, I think it was about a tenner. Oh no, it says, yeah, it was $11.99, $10.99, sorry, to buy this back in the day, or it was $16.99 or $23.99 Canadian dollars. Not that you need to know that.
No.
But yeah, I always thought myself I would buy it, and I bought it. This was one of the best books, other than Jurassic Park. This was one of the best books I ever purchased, and it's got so many little tips in it, and so many hints. Like, for example, like mentioning San Fierro.
Yeah.
There's literally a page, like, it's even got the map in it. Like, it's got like all of the what you call it's like the hospitals, car modifications, police stations. It's got all that information in here, and like, honestly, it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
What does my head in about Rockstar is Rockstar seems to go back in time every single fucking time they make a GTA, like in the aspects. So, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, what was before Grand Theft Auto 4? Was it San Andreas? I have no idea what.
I'm not sure. I feel like it was Vice City Stories. I feel like it was. Let me have a look. San Andreas. Yeah, it was San Andreas.
Like, Rockstar are so lazy when it comes to their Grand Theft Auto games.
Or was it? Yeah.
In that sense, I mean, so.
No, sorry, I was right. Sorry, it was Vice City Stories.
And then was it Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and Vice City then?
Yeah, so obviously the original Grand Theft Auto was 1997. Grand Theft Auto 2 was 99. Grand Theft Auto 3 was 2001. GTA Vice City came out in 2002, and then San Andreas came out in 2004. But the spin-off series, Liberty City Stories, came out in 2005, and then Vice City Stories came out in 2006, and then obviously 2 years later GTA 4 came out.
Like, what I meant by being lazy is, like, they literally implemented everything you could think of in San Andreas, from the aspect of being able to play basketball, to swimming in the water, to pinching military jets, to pinching helicopters, you name it, you could do it. And you could even go to the fucking gym and work out to work up your muscles.
Yeah.
And then it went to Vice City, where if you jumped in the water you would die automatically.
Yeah, you couldn't swim.
You couldn't fly planes. I knew you could fly helicopters. Then it got to San Andreas, and then it got to Grand Theft Auto 4, where you could fly helicopters but couldn't fly a plane. You could swim. You could go into a restaurant and eat food. And then they just became so lazy to the point where in order to make your stats grow up in Grand Theft Auto 5, you'd have to play tennis or golf to make your muscle grow up.
Yeah.
And it just really annoys me how back in time they've dated their games, even though they look fucking incredible. It's just like, look at what they've done with San Andreas to what they've done now. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's beyond me. Like, it really is.
The only thing that bothers me about GTA 5 is it seems like they've just abandoned the whole single player aspect of it. Like every other GTA has had a spin-off series or a DLC, a story mode DLC, but they've spent that much time coming up with online expansion packs, which are obviously free, but by the time you add up the amount of GTA dollars you need to use to actually do it, you've either got to spend absolute days and days and days of your time trying to accumulate all this money, or you just give in and just buy the GTA dollars off the store. It just seems that they've just turned into like money grabbers, is what I want to say.
Yeah.
And they're just leading on the fact that they know they're going to make more money by doing these online expansions where they know people can't do it on their own, which I know they've said in this newest one people can actually do this heist by themselves, but I don't believe it. I hadn't even touched it, to be honest. I'm not really interested in it.
That's something I can't comment on. I've done the heist by myself, and I'm not gonna lie, I like the aspect of being able to do it by yourself, but it's so fucking boring, and it's so much work just for one little bit of money. And like doing that heist for $1 million is literally like, it's like pocket change on Grand Theft Auto 5 because of how expensive the fucking stuff is.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
$4 million for a flying car, which is quite cheap, to be fair, for a flying car, but still, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, Rockstar, along with EA, have just jumped, because they know they can do it, they've just jumped onto microtransactions, because they know people can't be arsed to grind it.
Yeah, it's a shame that it's gone that way, because as soon as I completed that GTA 5 campaign, I straight away said I want a spin-off. What I mean? There's so much more stuff that they could put in there. That they could play with, so many different characters that they could use. It's a shame, really. But have you got any honourable mentions?
One of them, when I mentioned Feeding Frenzy, that wasn't actually on the list. Number 6 was actually Solitaire on the PC.
Oh yeah, Spider Solitaire.
But I changed it.
Yeah.
So I'll make Solitaire an honourable mention.
Yeah. My an honourable mention for me, I don't know if you ever played it, but Lord of the Rings was literally one of my favourite ever movie series. If not my favourite, he's my favourite. As you people can see when they press follow on there, you see Gandalf dancing. That's how much I love it. But there was a game on the PS2 for the Return of the King movie, and that game is literally one of the greatest games ever made. And I know there are a lot of people out there that will agree that have played it. Lord of the Rings Return of the King is an absolutely fantastic game. It's brilliant. Again, there's millions of people that screaming for a remaster, but it'll probably never happen.
That's a shame with most of these gaming companies now. The fact that they won't do like a remaster. Like, I think it's Blue Tail who created Operation Genesis, and I know from experience of searching it up, they've refused. They've point blank refused. Because the company that created Operation Genesis is actually, like, it's not a thing anymore. Like, they went bust. But yeah, I'll give one more honourable mention.
Yeah.
Because I remember us starting this podcast talking about King Kong.
Yeah.
The King Kong game was brilliant.
The movie, it was. I remember playing that. That game had me on the edge, fighting them bugs in the jungle, man. All you had was a stick. Oh, man.
And having, like, velociraptors chase you. And being able to play, I loved the part when you could play as King Kong and snap T-Rex's jaw.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was
Oh,
fucking
that
epic.
game was great. That's a game I'd love to go back and play, but just I don't think there's anywhere that you could get it now.
Could you not? Could you not? I forgot what the word is. Emulate? Could you not emulate it over? There's another way to emulate
I
the.
don't know. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to do some research. Sean has asked in the chat. Can anyone remember that game on the PC that was called like Jump Taxi, and you just had to just keep jumping over cars? I mean, I've never heard of that. It's not
No,
Crazy Taxi, is
I
it?
can't see I can't see how.
It might be Crazy Taxi. I'm not sure.
No, Crazy Taxi. You didn't jump over cars though.
And you not? I don't know. I never
No,
played it
Crazy
wrong,
Taxi
so
delivered their customers to certain places, but I have no idea. I have
no.
idea.
Is there anything else that anyone wants to talk about, Matty? You got anything else that you wanna talk about now? Charlotte's put no one's picked Rayman or Crash Bandicoot.
Sitting right next to us. Yeah.
I mean, Crash Bandicoot, I'd give an honourable mention in the first one.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, not in my top 10.
Nah, I did think about putting Crash Bandicoot into the top 10, but Crash Bandicoot was never a game I'd go to all the time as a kid. Like I mentioned, San Andreas is a game I'd go back to every single time when I was a kid. But yeah, what's your favourite board game? Give a.
Say, I don't know.
I mean, it can be a board game, or it can be something what I'm about to mention. Is it Kaplunk, where you pull the spikes out of the tower
Yeah.
with the marbles, and you have to prevent them falling down. Yeah, I used to love that.
Yeah, I remember that one. I mean, obviously everyone would probably say Monopoly. Monopoly just infuriates me. It's too long for me.
I fucking hate the console game. I fucking hate it.
I'd probably say like Trivial Pursuit or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, my mom, for my birthday last year, my mom bought me a Stranger Things Trivial Pursuit, and I shit you not, mate, me and Shauna spent fucking days playing that game. It's incredible.
I sense a game night coming when we officially.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I got it's like a digital Monopoly board. It's a normal Monopoly, but you got cards instead of using the cash. You use cards. That's quite good. That's quite good.
I know exactly. I've played that once or twice, and I remember playing that and thinking.
Yeah. Sean has put, can you both guess which console game has grossed the most, and then look it up?
Probably.
Sean has put quizzes as well.
Gross the most.
Gross the most.
To be honest, you know what it is? I'd probably say PS5. I think PS5 shot straight at the top.
I think she means which game.
Which game?
Which game has grossed? Console game has grossed the most money. Me personally, I'd probably say GTA 5.
Probably GTA 5. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, look, which video game has made the most money? Oh, that's a franchise. I don't want franchise. Ooh, I didn't think that, but can you? What are you saying then? Top one?
I'm still stuck with you.
GTA 5. I'm surprised it's not. GTA 5 is number 2. The highest selling game of all time is Minecraft.
Fucking hell.
With over 200 million sales. Grand Theft Auto 5 is second with 135 million sales. So Minecraft has outsold GTA 5 by 65 million sales. And then third is Tetris.
Who the fuck plays that shit?
Yeah, but obviously you got to think that's it's an old game. Fourth, completely unexpected, Wii Sports,
Cracking game.
82.9 million sales. And number 5, I would not think that this would be there, but it's PUBG,
Oh, not a massive fan. I don't
70
mind
million sales.
it. Now, what I want to know is highest grossing console.
I'll have a look. Hang on. What do you reckon the top selling franchise is?
Probably Grand Theft Auto. Oh, possibly FIFA.
Nope.
Grand Theft Auto.
Hang on. That's different there. Hang on. Right, number 1, the top selling gaming franchise of all time is Pokemon.
I probably would have expected that to be.
It's made over $90 billion. Number 2 is Mario, which is 30.25 billion, and the third is Call of Duty with 17 billion.
That's mad.
4 is, it just says Wii, and then you've got Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Street Fighter, Final Fantasy, Warcraft. Well, so you wanna know what the top grossing console
Before you take
is?
them, what's your guess?
I'd say PS. I don't know, PS5.
Xbox 360 or PS3.
It's got to be PS4, innit? Because surely they ain't sold enough PS5s to make it up the numbers. Because you know what I mean, like.
Yeah.
Oh, I stand corrected. Apparently, the top grossing console of all time is the PS2.
Holy shit.
Yep.
How much did that make?
159 million units were sold. That's mad, that is. You would have thought it'd be the PS4, but fair play.
What's
PS2.
second?
I'm not sure. It don't give me a list. It just says PS2. No, it don't say for some reason. PS2 you can have in prison. Well, that's nice to know. That's very nice to know. Oh, there you go. Number 2 is the Nintendo DS. Apparently.
Console, to be fair.
Number 3, Game Boy Color. And then 4th is PlayStation 4. I don't know when this article was released. Oh, that was as of the 6th of November 2020. So, yeah. Fair play. PS2 was brilliant. Anything else? Or we will wrap the podcast up here, because this has been a very long podcast. We're probably past the 2 hour mark now.
Thoroughly enjoyed this podcast. I mean, even though I'm not going to, because I'm not going to do this week, because next week is your time to shine. Have you got any film that you would like me to watch for my next review? Would you like to keep that until you...
I'm going to let that one brew. I want to think of a film, because I've got quite a long list here somewhere in this book of films that we haven't watched. One last question from Shauna before we go. Shauna says, if you both had to spend 24 hours on a game together, which would you choose? Matty says COD 4. I want to say 24 hours is a long time to play COD. I feel like there'd be quite a few broken controllers in the process. I'd probably say I could probably spend a day playing Minecraft together, because like I say, you could just. You could just do anything on there.
Go on. I'll put Minecraft first.
I'd say Minecraft. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Right, so we will end the podcast here. Massive thank you for everyone that's been watching live throughout all the technical hiccups and glitches and phones dying.
Not mentioning any names.
Yeah. Massive thank you for everyone watching now. Obviously, this will be live on YouTube at some point tomorrow. I'm gonna have to edit all together now. Mix the two recordings together to get it on there. But I'll upload that at some point tomorrow. If not, it'll be Tuesday. We're back as normal next week, Saturday 9 p.m.
Yep.
I'm not sure 100% what we'll be doing on there. I know for a fact that I'm going to be reviewing American Sniper. That'll be next week's movie review.
Yeah.
Obviously, if there's any breaking news in the world of gaming or movies, we'll let you know. Keep you updated.
If you have any form of topics that you want us to discuss, but
Yeah,
please,
of course,
please beware that you'll have to do it before we hit Saturday. If we haven't thought of a suggestion or like a topic already, which I guarantee we'll think of one. If you've got an idea of what you'd like us to discuss, please head on over to our Facebook or the YouTube and send us a message, and we will be sure to question that and see if we want to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, even if not, you could always catch us on Twitch. We are live for various times of the week. Obviously,
Yeah.
I stream on my channel. Matty's got his own channel, which Shana will put in the chat now. Go follow us both. If there's anything you think of and we're live, obviously just jump in the live and let us know in there. And obviously we'll confer with it within ourselves and put it in there. So yeah. If you're watching us on YouTube, whenever it's on, please like the video, subscribe. If you're watching on Twitch now, follow the page if you haven't already. Obviously the option to subscribe to the channel's there, which we appreciate. Just a note as well, once we hit 100 followers on this channel, we'll be doing a £10 gift card giveaway. So just a little incentive to try and get some followers and build this little community that we've got going now. So I love and respect everyone here. Appreciate the support from everyone. I know Matty feels the same way. So yeah,
Definitely. Anything
anything you want to add before we end it, Matt?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Like I say, oh yeah, the other thing I've got to say is if you do want to keep updated and you do want to be advised when we are live, keep an eye out on the Facebook. I mean, it's relatively 9 o'clock every single Saturday.
Yeah.
But if you're the sort of person who prefers to watch on YouTube, please click that notification bell down in the bottom right-hand corner or of your phone screen or your laptop screen, so you can keep up to date on the live videos.
Obviously as well, follow us over on Facebook. We post when we're live on Twitch. I also post when the YouTube video's out. So it's a good place to just have a general conversation in the comment section. Post your ideas, post your thoughts, everything in there. So we'll end that here for episode 3. Thank you so much for watching. The stream will continue because I believe me and Matty are going to play some Minecraft for you.
Yep.
We've got our own little world going there, so stick around if you want to stick around. Everyone in the podcast, thank you so much,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you soon.
See you all, guys. Bye bye.